experience as people think about those things that are, I always call them those things that sort of just make your heart race, those terrifying moments, and finding ways to push through and seize those.
I think the overall opportunity and lesson for me was really profound, that you can walk through a fear. Through a fear, like I've told me, I understand it was irrational.
I mean, not only did I conquer it,
I recorded 7 songs. I put out a soundtrack that I have 5 songs on. I sang with a live microphone on stage in a film. And my song, the single that we first put out, is number 14 on the adult contemporary charts. Like Ryan Seacrest knows about my song.
I love that. I love that. Right. Like, but, and you didn't take like a baby step, right? Like you went from 0 to like 1,000 off the ledge, 1,000 miles an hour, to make this happen. What was the moment in time that you were like, this is the dream has been conquered?
I think it was the first time I heard the music, when I heard myself back. I've sung in the shower. I've done little things here and there during my acting experiences and stuff, but to actually record in a studio and then hear yourself back, I was like, wait, what? Oh my God, it was crazy. And so when that started to happen, I started to realize that the fear, it was like smoke and mirrors, that like it was not this monster that I thought it was. There were a couple of other moments in there that I started to panic, but the first moment was sort of, and I find that that's what happens when you're taking leaps. Like it's fits and starts, it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But I think that first moment I heard myself was when it kind of clicked. I was like, oh my God, I think you're doing it. It's similar to pattern, in all honesty. There was a moment when it just felt, obviously after 10 years of working towards something, it was like, is it ever going to happen? And then when we started, it was still like, I was still in the mindset of, I don't know, And I remember there was this point, and I still feel like as a very new company, we're less than a year old, a little over a year. It's like we're flying a plane that we're still building. We're still such a teeny group. We all do everything and overlap in abilities. I do everything with everyone. Packaging, the copy on the back of the packet, like just everything. We're all doing it together. But there was a moment there when all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, we have goop. Mm-hmm. Like we have goop that like I want to use on my hair in my shower. I want to get rid of everything else. And I was like, oh my God, this is actually.
It's real. It's real.
It's real. Yeah.
I want to wrap up because, I can imagine the past 12 months have been, really defining in a lot of ways. You started this business, which obviously incredibly important to you and represents an evolution of you continuing to, give space to have women be them authentic selves, embrace themselves, continuing to change narratives. This film's an example of this. We have this extraordinary cultural reckoning in this country as well. What has been, the biggest learning for yourself in this moment in time around how to use your platform? And how does that translate to other people who may not necessarily have that same size of a platform, but who are looking ways to be agents of change and to be able to drive progress within their respective arenas?
Well, I don't think it's about the size of your platform. I think it helps, sure, but I actually think it's about the authenticity of your message and your narrative. Each of us has a unique story. Each of us has a unique vantage point. So I think staying true to that and allowing your platform to be a space for you to share that narrative as opposed to performing what you think other people want from you, I think is the biggest, the most helpful thing that I use as a guide. In terms of the experience that we're in now, the moment that we're in right now, I really think it's important for people to be informed, to actually listen, to look to those people who do the work that sort of connects to you, that are ahead of you in the game, that have more knowledge and wisdom and information than you, both in business, in civic engagement, in political conversations, in social action. I think there's so many people out there, and that's one of the beauties of social media, is we can actually see each other and we can connect in those places that actually pull us into the direction that we want to go. I don't think social media means you have to always say something just because. Like, you can still think before you speak. And
What's
I think
that?
that's
I don't know what that is anymore, right?
exactly, it's incredibly important. But, you know, Pattern is a mobile first brand. And so always sort of focusing and reminding ourselves, what is the mission of this brand? And how do we stay true to that in any moment as the tides change? How can we each continue evolving and growing and learning while still keeping our eye on the prize? You know, what is the message, the mission of your brand? And I do encourage people to name that for themselves. What is your mission? What is your intention here? And what is the promise of your brand?
I love that. I love that.
Incredibly important. So
Well,
this was fun.
this is fun. Thank you. And I love that sort of defining what your purpose is, but also your point that the barriers to entry rate have never been lower in terms of the ability to access information, insight, and to be, you know, a force for good in whatever way that you want to define it.
Yeah.
And so it really is having that intention, and taking the first step, or in your case, it seems like you don't take steps, you take leaps. So congratulations on all the success. I hope when I see you next that your friend behind you is still doing well. Maybe that could be your next venture.
Exactly. I'll be a plant lady.
There you go. Well, congratulations, and thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you so much. Have a great and beautiful day.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.